What can you tell me about what happened today, best you can tell, and how your reporting leading up to this kind of framed the moment, Sam?
So, I mean, today seems pretty straightforward. Doc Rivers has already spoken on it, and, it's just a player who wasn't following commands, if you will, at practice and who chose not to sub in for a particular drill and was then deemed a distraction. I mean, it's not surprising at all to see it go down this road, because it's 2021. The I think jarring part is just that we have a window into their world. You know what I mean? You've got these videos of the phone in the pocket and things of that nature. But if you remember a few weeks ago, and this is stuff like you alluded to that I had written at the time, his camp and his side and his people said all along, like, if he comes back, he will not be there mentally. Like, his body might be there, his spirit will not. He is mentally checked out on the Sixers. Now, admittedly, that's at the time I thought, all right, that's easy to say now, but Ben is not really considered personality-wise, a Jimmy Butler type or even an Anthony Davis type. So people wondered, did he kind of have the thick skin to carry himself in this kind of defiant way? And obviously he is going down that road. So pretty uncomfortable right now.
So what are the Sixers' options here? They've just suspended him one game for conduct detrimental, but that's a road opener against the Pelicans, which means he's eligible to return for, wait a minute, the home opener against the Nets. And this is the setup for what? They're gonna introduce him with the spotlight to the crowd and now put your hands together? Like, really? I mean, what's the options here? What are the moves for the Sixers?
I mean, it seems, and I haven't connected with them since this latest development, but it seems untenable to me, and it seems headed toward a, essentially kind of a declaration of, all right, why don't you go ahead and stay home, and we'll keep working the trade market. Now, that's not what they wanted. Daryl Morey, is their Sixers president, was the one who had brought up, the kind of somewhat, overly hopeful, I guess I'll say, Aaron Rodgers example. Like, just like the Packers QB came back to his group and started leading them to wins, maybe Ben would do that. Ben's obviously not going to do that. And, they hoped that he would get on the floor and remind the rest of the NBA how good of a player he is, up his trade value, and then get something, that was more amenable to what they want to do trade-wise. But I just don't see that happening, and I don't know what they're going to do. But we have seen in other situations, the Timberwolves on the back end of their Jimmy Butler experience would certainly tell you that they made a mistake in having him come back, that they should have just told Jimmy to stay home, that it creates too much of a distraction. You have a ripple effect on your teammates, on staff members. It just makes everybody miserable. And again, we're seeing that right now.
Well, I mean, the difference, Sam Amick of The Athletic, senior NBA writer here on the Rich Eisen Show, the difference between Aaron Rodgers and Ben Simmons, just glaring, would be your story about what Simmons thought, apparently, about Joel Embiid's presence in the paint and how that's a detriment to his game. It's never, when Aaron Rodgers was thinking about not coming back, he was never quoted as saying Devontae Adams was a problem,
Sure.
Just putting it all back together again, figuring, let's just all try it and hope that Simmons will show up like Aaron Rodgers and just go through it. That might be a little bit pie in the sky. So what now? Can they send him home? Can they basically say, you're not coming and that's it? And the NBA Players Association, the NBA PA, is going to be just fine with that? That's cool.
Well, the discussion at that point, it's, is he getting paid or not? And so then that I keep using that word uncomfortable. That's where it's, if you're Ben, it's like, man, are you really going to do this? Are you really going to walk, kind of do this high wire act where you decide how little energy do I need to put forth in order to continue getting paid, while also sending the message that, I'm still upset with you. I don't want to be here. I want you to trade me. That's a pretty impossible needle to thread, in my opinion, because he's already made it clear, not surprisingly, that he wants to get paid. When he started losing money, that's when he came back. It was getting close to about $1 million that he had already lost. And so, voila, Ben Simmons is back. So, I mean, yes, they can sideline him, but then the discussion about pay is one that the union is going to be heavily involved in. And I agree with you completely about the Aaron Rodgers comparison where it falls short because, he is not only done being in Philly, and he kind of refutes the idea that the fans play a part here, but, come on, you can't tell me that's a tough crowd. They haven't been happy with him. That doesn't make it any easier. But, yeah, he wants them to build around Joel Embiid, go on their merry way, and put him in a new spot.
So what is the trade market for him, best you can tell, Sam? What is it?
I'm not – yeah, every team that I run into, it's just red flags galore. And what struck me a little bit is that it does extend, I think, beyond, what has taken place this season. I think, the book on Ben, if you will, even before this, there were, because of the shooting and the lack of development on that side, there were questions about, call it work ethic, call it just, dedication to the development side. And that stuff is pretty glaring, obviously. There's questions about fit personality-wise. I think teams have concerns, but then, of course, they look at it and go, all right, guy was second in Defensive Player of the Year voting last season. Even when he struggles offensively, he's a game changer on the other end. So, the market is there. The Timberwolves have been the most aggressive to this point, even through their front office change that took place recently. We've heard other teams involved. The Kyrie Irving prospect, I was told, is definitely not something that Philly has interest in terms of both those teams solving their problems. So I don't know where this goes still because the market is nowhere near what Daryl Morey wants it to be.
I'm sorry. I should have let me rephrase the question. How does Rich Paul get Simmons to the Lakers? How does that happen? I should have asked it that way. My bad. How does that happen, Ben?
That's a good question.
Simmons with the Lakers.
Yeah, Russ in a Philly jersey, Russ and Embiid. I don't know. Can you flip them that quick? I don't think they're allowed to do that. Yeah, it's a rock and a hard place, man. And Rich, listen, Rich is obviously a big character in this situation, and Rich was at the center of the Anthony Davis situation when Anthony pushed his way to Lakerland. And that one, he got what he wanted. This one is different in terms of Ben does not have a target team that he's trying to go after. It's more so just get me out of Philly and get me somewhere, where I can have a new chapter.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.